The sky was burning. Gray clouds twisted above like smoke from a dead world. The ground shook with distant thunder. But it wasn't thunder. It was war loud and merciless. Giant alien ships floated above Earth like dark gods sending down beams of light that swallowed entire cities. No one knew where they came from or why they attacked so suddenly, but one man remembered. Eli stood alone on the rooftop of a half-broken hospital. His eyes looked up at the ships, calm yet full of something heavy. Not fear, something deeper. Something ancient. He wasn't just any soldier. He was once part of something. Bigger something not of this earth. He had left it behind years ago. But now it had come back for him. As the sirens screamed across the ruined city, Eli didn't move. Around him, the last survivors ran to the shelters. The sky cracked open with another blast, and the ground trembled beneath his boots. Still he waited, as if expecting someone, and then she came. From the flames walked a figure wrapped in silver light. Her skin glowed like the moon. Her hair shimmered like stars. Her armor was made of crystal and alien steel. She walked without fear. Her soldiers followed her, strange and tall, with blue skin and glowing eyes. But her eyes, they were only searching for him. "Eli," she said, her voice like wind through a dream. "I've missed you, human." His chest tightened. He hadn't heard that voice in years, not since he left her behind on her homeworld, thinking he would never see her again. "Zeria," he whispered. She was the alien queen, the last heir of a lost empire. And once his closest friend. Maybe more. He thought she had forgotten him, that she had moved on with her life in the stars. But here she was standing on the ashes of Earth, not as an enemy, not as a conqueror, but as someone who had come to find one man, only one. "What are you doing here?" Eli asked, his voice cold but cracking. "To bring you home," she said. Behind her, her warriors stayed silent. The wind pulled at her long cloak. Her eyes held sadness, but also strength. Eli looked around. Fires burned in the distance. The city he grew up in was gone. People were dying. Yet in this moment, all he could feel was the weight of memories. Their memories. The nights they sat under alien stars. The promises they made. The goodbye that broke them. "You're part of this?" he asked, his hand tightening on the gun at his side. "No," she said softly. "This was never meant to happen. I came to stop it." Eli didn't believe her. Not fully. Not yet. But something in her voice made him hesitate. Something in her eyes told the truth. "We were allies once," she said. "I still believe in that." "You left," he said. "You disappeared. I had to protect my people. But I never stopped thinking of you. When the War Council chose Earth as a target, I broke the law to come here. I came for you." Silence fell between them. Above, the sky was still on fire. But below, something was beginning to melt, the wall Eli had built inside his heart. Then a blast hit the building behind them. The shockwave knocked dust and smoke into the air. Zeria moved fast, her hand glowing with energy, forming a shield around them. Eli turned and saw her guards drawing weapons. Enemy drones were approaching. She looked at him. "You can come with me now," she said, "or stay and die." He hated ultimatums. He hated the feeling of being pulled between two worlds. But most of all, he hated the part of him that still cared. "I don't run," he said. She stepped closer. Her voice dropped. "Then fight with me, Eli, just like before." And in that moment, as the world burned, as the old pain rose, Eli made a choice. He turned and walked toward her. Eli followed Zeria into the dark alley behind the ruined hospital, where her ship waited quiet and hidden under a camouflage field. The hum of alien energy buzzed softly as they stepped aboard, the world outside still shaking from distant battles. The door closed behind them, and for the first time in years, he was alone with her. Truly alone. The ship was cold and silent. Not many guards. Just her and the shadows of a past he had tried to forget. She led him into a private chamber walls, glowing with soft blue light, filled with ancient alien symbols. There was a table between them, smooth as glass. Her fingers brushed over it, and a star map lit up in the air. "Why are you really here?" Eli asked, his voice low. Zyre didn't answer at first. She looked at the map. At Earth. At him. "They lead to me," she said quietly. "The Council told me your world was a threat. They planned this war for years. They never wanted peace. They only wanted your planet's core, its energy. But I knew if I said no, they'd destroy me too." Eli watched her closely. She didn't cry. Queens didn't cry. But her voice carried something deeper than tears. Shame. "So you chose me," he said. "Not Earth, just me." "I didn't come to save the planet," she admitted. "I came to save you." His chest tightened again. He wanted to hate her. Wanted to call her a traitor. But something in her voice, so human, so broken, made him pause. "What if I don't want to be saved?" he asked. "Then I will stay," she said, "and burn beside you." Eli couldn't believe it. An alien queen someone worshipped by. Entire systems offering to die beside a single human. He turned away, looked at the star map. It showed dozens of red dots closing in on Earth. Enemy fleets. "Too many to stop. This planet can't survive that," he said. "No," she agreed, "but you can." She pressed a button. A hologram appeared, an image of him from years ago, standing in alien armor, side by side with her on a battlefield far from Earth. "You were one of us once," she said. "Before you left." "Because I saw what power did to your people," he said sharply. "They called it peace, but it was control." She didn't argue. Instead, she stepped closer. Her hand brushed his cheek, gentle, glowing softly with her power. "Eli, I'm not asking you to forgive me, but I'm asking you to trust me, just long enough to stop what's coming." He looked at her. Truly looked. Her crown, her armor, her strength. But also the crack beneath it all. The human in her that only he had ever seen. And then the ship shook violently. "Incoming." A voice shouted through the speakers. The enemy had found them. Zarea's guards rushed in. One handed Eli a plasma rifle. He looked down at it then. At her. "You knew they'd come," he said. She nodded. "And I knew you'd fight." "I'm not doing this for you," he said. "I know," she replied. And for the first time, she smiled. They moved together toward the exit. Behind them, the star map showed Earth drowning in red, but a single blue light still blinked at him. The ship broke through the clouds, flying low across the ruins of New York City. Fire and smoke curled through the skyline, once proud and tall, now a graveyard of metal and memory. Inside the ship, Eli tightened the strap on his armor alien. Tech wrapped over his old Earth uniform, like a war between two lives happening right on his skin. Zarea stood at the front, eyes fixed on the glowing battlefield ahead. Her soldiers were ready, but quiet. They didn't speak much around Eli. He wasn't one of them anymore. Maybe he never was. "You know the Council will label you a traitor for this," Eli said, watching her reflection in the ship's glass. "They already have," she replied. "But that doesn't matter now." A pause. "What does matter?" she continued, her voice low. "Is that they found the relic." Eli turned to her sharply. "The blue flame?" She nodded. The blue flame was no myth, no fairy tale. It was real and dangerous. An ancient power buried deep under Earth's crust, long before humans ever walked on it. Alien legends said it could control life itself, reshape minds, rewrite memory, or destroy it all. "They want to activate it," she said. "Once they do, your people won't just lose the war. They'll forget they ever existed." Eli clenched his fists. "How long do we have?" "Hours. Maybe less." A silence fell between them again, but not the quiet kind. This one was heavy. filled with choices that couldn't be undone. Zaria reached behind her and pulled out a small orb, glowing, warm, and pulsing like a heartbeat. "This is a memory key," she said. "It's linked to the blue flame. If we reach it before the enemy does, we can lock it forever. And if we fail," she looked at him steady, "then the war will never have happened. Neither will we." Eli looked at the orb. It was beautiful, delicate, and terrifying. But before he could speak, the ship rocked hard, an explosion outside. Red streaks of plasma raced past the window. Enemy fighters had found them. "Brace!" shouted the pilot. Zyrei gripped a handle. Near the wall, her soldiers rushed into position. One of them handed Eli a second rifle. He didn't ask for it. He just took it. "We're going down," the pilot called out. Eli didn't feel fear. Not anymore, just purpose. Cold and clear, the ship crashed into an old stadium, metal screaming as it slid across the broken field. Sparks flew. Glass shattered. And then, silence, he groaned, pushing himself up. Blood dripped from his forehead. Zaria was already standing. Her armor cracked, but her eyes still burning. "The vault is below us," she said. "The flame is close." They moved fast down broken stairs and through collapsed tunnels, until they reached a door pulsing with blue light. But something waited there. A figure. Tall, armored in black. Glowing red eyes. A member of the alien council. "You, Zaria." Whispered. "Step aside, Queen," the figure said coldly. "This doesn't have to be your end." "No," she replied. "But it will be yours." And just like that, the chamber exploded into war. Plasma fire lit the dark. Swords of energy clashed, screams echoed off the walls, and Eli charged forward, toward the flame. Eli slammed his fist against the glowing wall. The blue vault hissed and slowly opened with a deep mechanical hum. Light poured out, soft at first, then brighter than the sun. Inside, the flame floated silently. It was smaller than he expected. Just a flickering blue spark suspended in the air, like a piece of a dying star. Zaria was behind him, panting, armor cracked, one side burned. Her blade was broken, but her spirit wasn't. The black-armored council soldier lay defeated in the shadows, his weapon crushed. But Eli didn't move. Not yet. The blue flame pulsed again, once, twice, and then it began to spin faster. "It's reacting to you," Zaria whispered. He didn't answer. He couldn't. His feet stepped forward without command. His chest tightened. And then memories hit him like lightning. Visions of places he had never seen. Battlefields under twin suns. Alien cities singing in the sky. A tall woman, Zaria, standing beside him, but not as she looked now, younger, softer, and in her arms, a child. His child? No, he shook his head. None of it was real, was it? But the images kept coming. Him training in Royal Guard armor. Him speaking in her language. Him holding a glowing orb, this same flame, and saying words that burned into his brain. "Lock my memories. Protect her from what's coming. And bring me back when it's time." He staggered backward, breath shaking. "What is this?" He gasped. Zyrei stepped forward. "You asked me to do it. Years ago. You begged me to erase your memories and send you to Earth. Why would I do that?" Her eyes glistened now. "Because you saw what the council was planning. You wanted to stop it, but you knew they'd hunt you. So you hid, inside a life that wasn't yours." Eli's legs gave out. He sank to the ground. None of his childhood memories felt solid anymore. Not his school, not his army days. Not even his mother's voice. Like a fog, fading. "Who am I really?" He whispered. Zyrei and knelt beside him. Her hand reached for his. "You're Eli. But you were once Prince Elian, protector of the throne. And you chose Earth not as a soldier, but as a home worth dying for." He couldn't breathe. And still, the blue flame pulsed. It called to him like an old friend. Not to destroy, but to restore. His memories weren't gone, just buried. And now, piece by piece, they were coming back. A bang shook the chamber. Above them, enemy dropships landed outside the stadium. The council wasn't done yet. They're here, Zaraya said. They'll take the flame. No, Eli replied, standing. He walked into the vault. Blue light wrapped around his arms, his chest, his mind. And then something happened that no one expected. The flame entered him, not just into his hands, but into his body, into his memory, into every cell. He glowed with blue fire. His armor lifted from the ground and rebuilt itself around him, shining, alien, royal. He was changing, and the queen stepped back, speechless. What have you done? One of her guards whispered. Zyreia smiled, tears on her face. He's remembering who he was. The wind above the stadium roared with fire and metal. Enemy dropships blackened the sky like swarms of hungry insects. Soldiers poured out, tall, armored, eyes glowing red. The elite of the alien council. They weren't coming to fight. They were coming to erase. But below the battlefield, in the heart of the vault, Eli was no longer just Eli. He stood in the center of the chamber, glowing like a fallen star. The blue flame had melted into him, his armor now forged of light and memory. Ancient patterns crawled across his chestplate, alive. Alien symbols shifted and pulsed like a second heartbeat. He was no longer a lost soldier. He was no longer human. Was Prince Elian, the forgotten heir of the royal bloodline. And he had returned. Zaraya watched from behind, breath caught in her throat. He looked taller now, sharper. Every step he took toward the surface sent a silent wave through the stone walls. Power followed him like a storm waiting to be named. They're already here, one of her guards said. Lin turned slowly. Let them come. The doors to the chamber blew open. Enemy soldiers flooded in, plasma guns raised, voices shouting. The leader stepped forward, helmet cracked, a red cape dragging behind him. You, he growled. You were erased. Elian didn't flinch. You erased my memories, he said calmly. But not my soul. Without warning, blue fire burst from his hands, not burning, but bending space itself. It pulled weapons from the council soldiers, turned metal into dust, and froze them mid-step. The chamber echoed with gasps. He walked through them like wind. Through leaves, Zaraya followed him to the surface. The sky above the stadium cracked with thunder and ships. Explosions rocked the city. People screamed. But when Elian stepped outside, everything stopped, even the ships. Thousands of enemy troops froze. Their eyes locked on the figure bathed in blue light. He raised his hand. A pulse erupted outward, silent, invisible, but powerful. All the enemy weapons, every rifle, every drone, every ship in the sky shut down at once. Sparks rained like dying stars. The soldiers dropped to their knees, not from command, not from fear. From memory. They remembered him, their prince, their shield. We thought you were dead, one whispered. I was, Elian said. But you made the mistake of waking me. Zaraya stepped beside him, her crown tilted, her voice proud but soft. You said you didn't want to be saved, she whispered. I didn't, he replied. But now I remember why I must. And then, silence, until a sharp scream cut the air. A child, trapped in the rubble nearby. Elian rushed to the sound, lifted a beam with one hand, and pulled the girl out. She looked up at him with wide eyes. Are you an angel? She asked. He smiled. No. I'm just someone who forgot who he was. The crowd gathered. Human survivors. Alien soldiers. Council defectors. And in the middle of them all stood Elian, glowing, breathing, remembering. But the war wasn't over yet. High above the earth, in a black ship with no name, the true enemy watched. His eyes narrowed, his voice hissed, "He's back." A black ship tore through Earth's sky like a scar across the stars. It didn't blink. It didn't speak. It simply arrived silent and huge, casting a cold shadow across cities already broken by war. No flags, no mercy. Only one purpose: to end what had begun centuries ago. Zyrei stood at the edge of the stadium ruins, her eyes fixed upward. She had seen this ship once before long ago, at her coronation. She was just a girl then. The ship had hovered far above, watching, judging. The council called it the Last Gate. But its true name was older. The one inside was not a soldier, not a king. He was the Memory Eater. "He's coming," she whispered. Elin stood beside her, his new armor humming with power. Blue light flowed under his skin like fire through rivers. He had become more than human now, but not less. He looked into the sky. He didn't blink. "Then I'll open the door he fears most," he said. A beam of red light shot from the ship, crashing into the earth like a sword of fury. Buildings shattered, earth cracked. A figure emerged, tall, cloaked in shifting shadows, face covered in a mask made of glass and bone. The Memory Eater stepped forward. "You were erased," the creature said, voice layered with centuries. "And yet I remember everything," Elin replied. They stood in silence, not as warriors, but as opposites, the one who stole memory, and the one who had taken it back. "If you fight me," the Memory Eater hissed, "your people will suffer, again." "They already did," Elin said. "But this time they will not suffer alone." Zaraya stepped beside him. Her blade lit once more. "We fight together," she said. And then it began. The sky tore open. The earth trembled. Their powers clashed like storms made of stars. Blue and red exploded over the city as soldiers fled for cover. Winds howled like lost gods. Elin's mind was tested. Visions, lies, broken pieces of people he loved thrown at him by the Memory Eater. But he held on. Not with rage, with love. He remembered the little girl he saved, the smile on Zaraya's face, when they first danced on her homeworld, the laughter they had shared in quiet caves, away from war. He remembered humanity, and in one final breath, he released everything, his power, his pain, his truth, into the sky. A wave of light burst from his body. Not a weapon, not destruction, but restoration. Memories returned, to people, to planets, to species long forgotten. The council's lies burned away. The Memory Eater screamed as his own face cracked, revealing a frightened being beneath the mask. Not a god, just someone who had spent too long stealing others' lives because he had lost his own. He faded into dust, and the sky cleared. The battle was over, but Elin fell to his knees. His body was fading. His light was dimming. Zaraya rushed to him, held him in her arms. "No," she whispered. "Not now, not again." He smiled. "I remembered," he said softly. "And that's enough. Stay," she begged. "Stay with me." But he was already slipping away, his energy returning to the blue flame, the vault, the planet. "I was born human," he whispered. "But I was meant to become the memory." And then, he was gone. Not dead, just light. The skies turned blue again. Birds returned. The war was over. Years passed. A statue stood in the center of a rebuilt city, a man with glowing eyes and calm strength, standing beside an alien queen. Children gathered there to listen to the story of Elin, the man who remembered for a whole world. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, Zaraya stood on a cliff under two moons, eyes closed, hand over her heart. "I've missed you, human," she whispered. And in the wind, she swore, he whispered back.